I work security for an office building downtown. Night shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. It's a boring job. 99% of the time, I'm just watching empty hallways on security monitors, waiting for my shift to end. The cameras are always running, always recording. 24 feeds showing every floor, every corridor, every entrance and exit. But cameras only show what's really there, right? That's what I thought. Until last Tuesday, when the cameras started showing things that couldn't possibly be real. Or maybe they were showing things that were always there, and we just couldn't see them without the cameras. I don't know which possibility scares me more.
It started at 2:47 a.m. I remember the exact time because I was watching the timestamp on camera 12, third floor corridor, when the anomaly appeared. At first, I thought it was a technical glitch, a dark shape in the corner of the frame that wasn't there a second ago. Not a shadow exactly, more like a void, a space where light should be but wasn't. I switched to a different camera angle to get a better view. Camera 13, same hallway from the opposite end. The shape wasn't there anymore.
I switched back to camera 12. The shape had moved. Now it was in the middle of the hallway, larger, more defined, almost human-shaped. But the timestamps showed continuous recording. No gaps, no cuts. The thing had moved between one frame and the next, faster than anything should be able to move. I called my supervisor. Hey, Dave, I'm seeing something weird on camera 12. Can you take a look? Weird how? Like, I don't know, a technical issue, maybe? There's this dark spot that keeps moving. Probably a dead pixel. Note it in the log, and I'll have maintenance check it tomorrow. It's not a dead pixel. It's moving across the frame, changing position.
There was a long pause. Michael, how long you been awake?
I'm not imagining this. Look at the feed. I'm looking at it right now. Camera 12, third floor. I see an empty hallway, nothing else. I stared at my monitor. The shape was still there, clear as day, moving slowly down the corridor toward the stairwell. But Dave couldn't see it.
I started checking all the other feeds. Most were normal, empty offices, dark conference rooms, motionless hallways. But on camera 7, second floor break room, there was another anomaly. A figure sitting at one of the tables. Not a dark void this time. This one was more visible. It looked like a person, but wrong. The proportions were off, the limbs too long, the head at a weird angle. And it was staring directly at the camera. I radioed Dave again. Camera 7, second floor. Tell me you see that. See what? The person sitting in the break room. Michael, there's no one in the break room. Building's empty except for you.
I'm looking right at it. It's sitting there, staring at the camera. Maybe you should take a break. Go walk around, get some coffee. Sometimes staring at monitors too long messes with your eyes. He was right about one thing. I needed to see this in person. I left the security office and took the elevator to the second floor. The hallways were dark, lit only by emergency exit signs. My footsteps echoed against tile floors. I reached the break room and opened the door. Empty. No one there. Just tables, chairs, vending machines. I pulled out my phone and opened the security app. From my phone, I could access all the camera feeds remotely. Camera 7 showed the break room from its ceiling-mounted position, and it showed me standing in the doorway, looking around. It also showed the figure still sitting at the table, right in front of me, 3 feet away. But when I looked with my own eyes, there was nothing there. Only the camera could see it. I ran back to the security office and started reviewing archived footage. If these things were appearing on camera, maybe they'd appeared before. Maybe previous security guards had seen them and never reported it. I pulled up recordings from the past week, fast-forwarded through hours of empty hallways.
And I found them. Not just two figures, dozens. Every night, between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., the cameras picked up things that shouldn't be there. Shapes moving through walls, figures standing in impossible positions, forms that didn't match any human anatomy. But here's what made my blood run cold. In every recording, the timestamp glitched exactly when the figures appeared. Just for a frame or two. Like the camera was struggling to process what it was seeing, struggling to decide whether to record it or not. And then I noticed something else. The figures were always looking at the cameras, directly at them, like they knew they were being watched, like they knew they could only be seen through the lenses. I checked the current feeds. Camera 12. The dark shape had reached the stairwell and was ascending. Camera 7, the figure in the break room was gone, but now there were new ones appearing. Camera 3, first floor lobby, a tall figure standing by the elevators.
Camera 9, fourth floor conference room. Multiple shapes gathered around the table, like a meeting. Camera 15, fifth floor hallway. Something crawling on the ceiling. They were everywhere. The building was full of them, and they were all moving toward the same location. The basement, where the security office is located, where I was sitting right now.
The cameras in the basement started showing them arriving. Camera 18, basement hallway. 3 figures emerging from the stairwell. Camera 19, storage area. Something large squeezing through the doorway. Camera 20, mechanical room. Shapes clustering around the pipes and electrical systems. They were all moving toward camera 21. The camera pointed directly at the security office door. I watched the feed. The hallway outside my office was filling with them. Dark voids, distorted figures, things with too many limbs or no limbs at all of them facing the door, all of them waiting. I locked the office door, as if that would help against things that could walk through walls. The lights in the office flickered. On the monitors, the figures outside started moving closer. The camera shook, not from vibration, but like the image itself was unstable. The timestamp began glitching rapidly, jumping forward and backward, unable to maintain coherence. Then all the monitors went black. Complete darkness, no feeds, no timestamps, no image at all. Just my reflection in the dead screens. Except my reflection was wrong. In the black monitors, I could see myself sitting at the desk, but I could also see what was behind me. The office wasn't empty. They were already inside. I could see them in the reflection, dozens of them, surrounding my chair, reaching toward me with limbs that bent the wrong way. But when I spun around to look, there was nothing there. Only in the reflection. Only in the cameras. The monitors flickered back to life. All 21 feeds showed the same image, the security office from different angles, showing me at my desk, surrounded by figures that I couldn't see with my own eyes. And then the feeds began to rewind. I watched myself in reverse, spinning around, backing away from the door, unlocking it. The figures retreated, moved backward through the building, ascending the stairs, dispersing to their original positions. The timestamp rolled backward. 4:30 a.m., 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 3 a.m., 2:47 a.m. Everything reset. The monitor showed empty hallways again. The shapes were gone. The timestamp read 2:47 a.m. And on camera 12, third floor corridor, a dark shape appeared in the corner of the frame. It was starting again. I quit that job the next morning, told them it was a family emergency. Didn't mention what I'd seen. Didn't mention the loop I'd been trapped in, watching the same 3 hours repeat over and over, watching those things close in on me again and again, only to reset at the last moment. I've done some research since then. The building was constructed in 1987 on the site of an old hospital. Before that, it was a morgue. Before that, something older that no records properly document. But that's not what keeps me up at night. What keeps me up
is this. I've started seeing them in other cameras too. Security footage at the grocery store, figures in the aisles that no one else notices, traffic cameras on the news, shapes moving through the intersection during red lights.
My doorbell camera, something standing on my porch at 2:47 a.m. every night, staring at the lens. They're not confined to that building. They're everywhere. They've always been everywhere. We just can't see them with our regular eyes. But cameras can. Cameras capture wavelengths we can't perceive. They record moments our brains filter out. They show reality exactly as it is, without the protective limitations of human vision. And reality, it turns out, is full of things we're not supposed to see.
I don't watch security footage anymore. I don't even like being on camera, because now I know what the cameras see that we don't. And I know that those things are aware they're being watched. Last week, I was buying coffee, and I glanced up at the security camera in the corner. Just a brief look, less than a second. But in that moment, I saw something in the camera's reflection that wasn't in the room with me. Or maybe it was in the room. Maybe it's always in the room. Maybe these things are around us all the time, invisible to our limited perception, only becoming visible when filtered through the cold, objective lens of technology. Maybe we're the ones who aren't really there.
Maybe the cameras see the truth, and what we see is the illusion. I don't know. What I do know is this. If you work security, if you monitor cameras, if you watch surveillance feeds late at night, pay attention to what appears at 2:47 a.m. And if you see something that shouldn't be there, something moving when nothing should be moving, something staring back at you through the lens, don't assume it's a glitch. Because the cameras are working fine. They're showing you exactly what's there. You're just finally seeing what's been watching you all along.